I've been a Conan fan like forever, right? So I was like, what about if Conan went to Ghana?
Yeah, so how did everything start? Tell me.
Okay, so it kind of started in December last year. And I was speaking with the ambassador, the Ghana ambassador to the States, right? And he was telling me about this whole year of return thing, like, you know, it's 400 years since slavery, so the whole Ghana government is doing something.
Yeah.
And he was like, do I have any projects that we would want to do, like, with the embassy? And I was like, well, I didn't know all this, so let me go and think about it. So then I've been a Conan fan for 3 million years, like forever, right? And then I watched like his shows, like his Without Borders. I've watched all the episodes, and they're on Netflix, by the way. So I was like, oh, I was actually talking to my brother. I'm like, what about if Conan went to Ghana? And we could do it like, you know, the embassy is inviting him, because I just spoke to the ambassador and all that stuff. So I didn't even ask the ambassador, because he gave me like free range. So then I just went ahead and I emailed everybody on Conan's team. Like literally.
Every single person.
Like I think I sent maybe 50 emails out.
Wow.
To just everybody. Because I have, like, because of the work I do, we kind of like have access to like email addresses, right?
Okay.
So then I was just emailing it like, oh, by the way, it's the year of return, come to Ghana, Without Borders hasn't been in Africa before, come, blah, blah, blah. And this was in like January. I think I sent the emails, I checked January 4th. And then I didn't hear anything. It's like, that's the work we do. We pitch, you don't hear back, whatever. So then I forgot about it. Then like, I think it was end of February, I heard back from Jason. He's like, oh yeah, like we got your email and we're going to Australia next, but we're actually interested in coming to Ghana.
Wow.
When I tell you I almost had a heart attack, you have no idea. I was like, because me, I'm a Conan fan, like hardcore. Everybody knows this.
Yeah.
Like Conan is like maybe my top 5 comedians. Like I want to say Fred Armisen, Conan, Kristen Wiig, Carmichael, but Conan is up there.
Yeah.
So imagine me,
It's crazy.
this Ghana girl.
This is crazy.
I sent an email. I mean, I send 1 billion emails a month, pitches. That's what we do. That's the work we do. And then they write back and they're like, oh yeah, we're considering it. Huh. I literally almost passed out. So I called my parents, I called my brothers, everybody. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this could happen. But then they were going to Australia. So I didn't hear from them for a long time. And then I was like, oh, okay, maybe not. Maybe like tone down on your excitement. And then my grandma passed away. So it's kind of like the attention kind of moved a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I just kept like, geez, like I was praying hardcore, like let me just hear back from them. And then I think it was in March or something, like early March, they came back, they're like, yeah, we're ready, like we're gonna do it. Let's go. Just like that.
Poof, just like
I'm like, me, don't give me those things though. I think the next email I sent was all the ideas that you guys can do when you're in Ghana. Can you imagine? Like somebody has said, okay, we're coming, they're gonna brainstorm, and then
just
I'm
like
just
that,
like,
you just
I'm like, okay, first, day one, you guys will do this. So I sent a whole bunch of ideas, and that's how it started. Initially, Sam Richardson.
Yeah, Sam. It seemed like Sam joined later on.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
From the video Conan posted on his Instagram.
Yeah.
Be our next Conan Without Borders show. If you're watching those, Conan in Ghana. Very excited about that. And I like to have a friend, so to help me on my trip, I'm bringing a pal who's half Ghanaian, one of the stars of HBO's hit show Veep. Very funny gentleman. Sam Richardson is coming with me. Very excited about this. Yeah. Very glad you're coming. Yeah.
So like, so we started the whole planning. Like, obviously, I helped them with their visas and the press cards and all that stuff before we had to go into it. Obviously, at the same time, we were talking about like the planning, like what they will do, the different activities they'll do while they're in Ghana.
Yeah.
But at the same time, obviously, you need your visas, you need your shots, you need your press passes and stuff. So it was always like just the Conan team. And then last minute, I think Sam went on Conan's show and his mom is from Ghana. So then that's how it came up, like, oh, we're actually thinking of going to Ghana. So then they kind of like integrated him in an episode before, like one of the first episodes. Just random. So he was on the show and they're like, oh, you know, we may go to Ghana. Will you go with us, kind of thing. Like they just planted the seed in everybody's, but by that time we're already planning.
Yeah.
And then he was like, yeah, sure. So then it was like on our end, now we have to do his visa, his press cards, everything.
Work. But
so,
I think it was amazing to also have Sam, you know.
Yeah, it was great, right? Because they've done it like when they were in Korea, they used that guy from Walking Dead, you know, and then when they were in Israel, they used that model. I don't know her name, something like her name. So it made sense for them to use like somebody from Ghana to go, and it added like a layer of spice to it, I guess. So that was interesting. And then, so it's so interesting how TV works, because even when Conan announced that we're coming to Ghana, right, it was literally, I think, the Thursday before they came. So he was like on stage and he's like, oh, by the way, we got this letter from the Ghana ambassador inviting me to Ghana, and Sam is coming with us. And then Sam comes from backstage, and we're going to Ghana. So from next week, we'll be in Ghana. And then they're like, as if we haven't spent 3 months
planning every single detail.
Yeah, so that's what happened. But it was even interesting because the letter that he got from the ambassador, literally, I want to say the day or 2 days before Conan made the announcement, I was on WhatsApp with Jason. So Jason is the main producer that I was like dealing with. And he's like, oh, it seems Conan is going to make the announcement on Thursday or Friday or whatever day it was. And then I was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool? I suggested, I was like, wouldn't it be cool if we got like an official letter from the ambassador saying that, you know, like, thank you for going to Ghana, like, we can't wait, something. And he's like, yeah, that would be cool. I was like, hey, why do I always do this to myself? Like, I suggest things. So then I called the ambassador and I was like, okay, so Conan is going to announce. Can I draft a letter for you, and then you can just sign it, and then I'll just like send it to them? And he's like, sure. So that evening, I drafted the letter with the help of my brothers. I actually have it somewhere on my WhatsApp, because my brothers and I have a WhatsApp group. So I drafted it, and then my brothers were like, you know, inputting, like, no, let's take this out, let's take this. And then they finally agreed. And this is the letter. I mean, it's far away, but this is the letter.
I have to film it after.
So this is the letter, and he signed it, and then I sent it to Jason, and then that was the letter. Like, that isn't that crazy how TV works? Like, just like that. Because I'm in Ghana, I called the ambassador in DC, send it to him, then he brings it back. And then,
you know, when you're sitting on the other end of the television,
it just seems so seamless, right?
It just happened, you know.
It didn't just happen. It didn't just happen.
3 months, wow, that's a lot of planning.
A lot of planning, yeah. It's crazy how everything worked, because the day, I think it was the day before the last day, and then we were at dinner. You weren't there, I think.
No, I wasn't.
It was me and Eunice. And then the Conan team, and I was literally sitting by Conan, and he was so happy, and he was like, he told me, he said, of all the countries that we've done, this is the most content we've got, and for all the segments that we shot, they think they can use all of them.
Wow.
And we hadn't even
That's
finished.
crazy
We
to
still had a
think
full
about,
day
you know?
of like 3 activities to do. And he already
3 more
said
activities.
they could have gone. They could have literally gone back to
Left
America
that day.
on that day because they've got even more.
More content than they need. Wow.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I could have just, I'm like, first of all, the whole time I was like, Conan is in Ghana and he's talking to me. Like, that's how much of a fan I like that. So obviously, you know, when you're in the groove, I mean, you were there, you know,
Yeah.
it's full work. Like, yeah, it's just working.
Yeah.
So you kind of forget how huge a deal it is. But then I just kept like snapping myself back like, yo, like literally anything can happen.
You know, someone that you looked up to for a very long time.
For a huge, like, looked up to is even an like this, I was a fan. Like, I remember even at the airport when we went to pick them up. And it's like, obviously we've been planning, so they all know. So then they're all like, Lady May, Lady May. I'm like, Conan is calling my name.
Conan is
Conan
calling my name.
Conan said Lady May.
That didn't get to you like during all the conference calls you had, but when you got to Ghana, it was when
No,
it
it's
really got to
it's
you.
like, can you imagine? Like, this is Conan, and he's in Ghana. Like, it's so huge. And then the fact that it's like, it all kind of happened from a pitch that I sent. You know, it makes you know that nothing is impossible. Because if someone told me, because what's weird is like, so after he left, I posted everything that we did on my LinkedIn. And then I actually was going back. The last post that I made before I made these posts about Conan in Ghana, like the most recent post I did was like 11 months ago. And it was literally me posting about Conan in Japan saying, oh my God, how cool is this? Conan is in Japan. This is 11 months ago. Like, we had no idea Conan was coming to Ghana. But that's how much of a fan I am.
Wow.
So it's like the law of attraction is like me posting like Conan is in Japan. And then,
you know,
the next
11
post
months
is
later.
Conan is in Ghana.
Wow.
Isn't that bananas?
That's crazy.
That is insane. So yeah.
Let's give it up for a huge hand, our local producer in Ghana, who's here, Lady May. Lady May, where are you? There, Lady May, stand. Stand up. Lady May made it happen. Lady May was constantly explaining to everybody, no, don't worry. I know he looks weird. It's going to be fine. He's here for a good reason. Yeah, so I think people will be pleased in Ghana with the episode. Were you pleased? Were you okay with it? Okay, good. I'm glad you're happy. If you're happy, I'm happy.